Hello everybody, I am Fuzzy Face. Welcome back to this Motorsport Manager career. We're heading to Rio de Janeiro, the Brazilian Grand Prix. Looks like it's going to be a rainy race. Qualifying is going to be alright. A little bit of rain, so it might have a period of intermediates, a bit of dry. Who knows what's going to go on in the race? We're going to get into that. Hopefully, it's going to be a good race. Hopefully, it's going to be a better race for us than the last race in Yokohama. 11th and 15th. I think it's the first time that we finished outside the points in quite a while. When was the last time we actually finished outside the points? Was it really early on in the season? Because we've been quite consistent. We would have to go all the way back to Portugal where we had a 12th and a 13th finish. So that is quite a long time back where we didn't actually get into the points. Our Audi car just not quick enough. We know we're behind with the engine. The rest of the car's looking pretty decent. We have got a new front wing built. We are working on a new engine, which possibly isn't going to get used this season. It is 32 days until it's complete. It will be ready for Doha. But I'm just going to keep it for realism's sake. We're not going to. A team wouldn't introduce really a new engine for the last race of the season. It is going to be the basis for next year's engine, so we're just going to move that on. Keep things as realistic as we can do in this game. It is the whole part of this game pretty much. But as it is, in the last video I mentioned a fan vote over who gets a big performance increase heading into next season. There will be a link down below. It should be there. It depends if I get to the video in time once it does actually, because I do schedule it, because I filmed the day before and then schedule it for the day after. If I'm around and I get the comment posted, it will be there. If it's not, it will be on the previous video in a comment that I've left. You can go ahead and vote there on who you would like to see get a performance increase. Obviously the top 4 teams, Renault, Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull, are not included in the vote. We ourselves, Audi, are not included in that vote, but everyone else is eligible. See what you want to do. Maybe you want to see Williams head back to the top, McLaren get back into the top 4. Maybe you want to see Prix with their Ferrari backing move up, AlphaTauri be more like Red Bull, Haas get back to their previous form, Alfa Romeo use that Ferrari power, use that Ferrari power, have a decent chassis to go along with it, get back to what they were. Or Aston Martin, maybe Papa Stroll, Lawrence Stroll, pump some more money into that team. They use the Mercedes wind tunnel more efficiently and get a car that is capable of fighting at the front. But we'll get into what Aston Martin have just done, because they've actually made some massive leaps forward between the last race and this one. As we head into our notebook section of this video, excuse the noise of me picking up my notebook, Mercedes do not have any upgrades. They introduced a new engine in the last episode. That engine has now filtered down to the customer team, so Williams, McLaren, Aston Martin, they do have that new engine upgrade. Red Bull, no upgrades. Williams, we mentioned, just got the engine upgrade. Ferrari, no upgrades for this race. McLaren, only the engine upgrade from Mercedes. Aston Martin, along with the engine upgrade that they've got, have also got a new rear wing going onto their car. As you can see, we've had the best rear wing for most of the season, as the AI doesn't seem to like developing it. But Aston Martin have gone ahead and developed one that is quite a bit better than ours. So Aston Martin have made quite a leap forward along with that new engine. They have moved up to the fifth best car overall, actually jumping us in the order of things at the moment. AlphaTauri also made a pretty, no, it wasn't a big leap to the gearbox, still sees them 11th overall. Renault, Alfa Romeo, Haas, no upgrades going onto their car. Prima, it is a gearbox as well, that is the one I was thinking of. That is a massive upgrade, puts them 5th overall in terms of what their gearbox is doing. And we ourselves have introduced a new front wing, which we've gone over. It's a little bit better than the last one. It's actually quite a bit better. It was only about a 30 point or so increase, but it has moved us up to 3rd. The engine, as we said, quite a long time before that is done. But it will be interesting to see whether Aston Martin, with that increased power, that increased speed in the high speed corners, which is crucial here in Sao Paulo. You know, this isn't Sao Paulo, it's not Interlagos, this is Rio de Janeiro, but this is possibly the track which does fit the best with the real life track, because it is pretty similar to Interlagos. If you've watched my previous series before, you know I love the Brazil track. But anyway, we're going to jump into this. Oh, just one thing that I did notice, Stoffel van Dorn, you can see he's lost some of his rating, and that is because he's gone ahead and published a racing themed cookbook. So in addition to releasing a cookbook, he's gone ahead and possibly eaten every recipe in that cookbook as well. Because I'm guessing this is just pointing at the fact maybe he's put on a bit of weight. Whatever sort of weight gain he's increased to take off 5 fitness, I don't know. Maybe he's put on 2 stone in the course of a week. Who knows? But that has impacted him somewhat. His fitness is down, which will impact his performance, his lap times as the race goes on. We're just going to see how he does. He's still a better rated driver than Pascal Wehrlein at the moment, because unfortunately Pascal Wehrlein does have a negative trait as well. He was burgled before the last episode, which is a -1 to pretty much every stat across the board. What can we say? Not the best of luck with the drivers there, which we had some good luck earlier on with Stoffel van Dorn getting some increased traits, but it's working against us now heading into the business end of the season. As we saw in the last race, Mercedes pulled out a bigger gap. Lewis is getting closer to Charles. It's going to be tight. We've got 3 races left. We've got Brazil, we've got Phoenix, then we've got Doha. It's going to be interesting heading into the final part of the season. As it is, both our cars are still equal, but Stoffel, as usual, is not as happy with it as Sebastian Vettel, even though the car is equal across all parts, everything, reliability, performance, exactly the same. Who knows? But anyway, we're going to jump into practice and we'll be back in a second with this video for qualifying. What can we do in Brazil? Who knows? It's up in the air. Let's go. So practice is over. We are looking pretty quick, not too far. That's 3 1,000ths of a second off Charles Leclerc, who set the quickest time in practice with Vettel. Not too bad from him. Wehrlein 8 tenths behind his teammate. Put Wehrlein in just to see where he's at the moment. Give Van Dorn a rest for practice. It's going to be, I'm just not quite sure of what we're going to do next season. Van Dorn and Wehrlein are so close. Wehrlein's younger. It's a little bit of a quandary of what we go for. Van Dorn has been doing pretty well this season though. Setup, not there with that. What do we need to do? We went too far that way, I guess, and that was maybe somewhere in between maybe. We can make one change before we get to qualifying and enter part Fermi. Vettel was alright with this setup. Seems like the Ultra is about a second quicker than the harder compound tyre during this race. Was it the same here? Obviously these times were set by Wehrlein here. He's about 1.1 seconds quicker than the Ultras compared to the softs. So everything is going well there with the setup of that. I'm not going to change the setup for Van Dorn. So let's just jump straight into qualifying here. I don't think it's going to rain during qualifying. We've got some rain forecast for the race, but we'll get Van Dorn out early. He's going to be first car out on track. He's not going to have much track grip to work with, but hopefully he can set a quicker time during his second lap, and we'll get Vettel out about here. It looks like it's pretty clear, although he might have someone jump him. Although we're nice and near the end of the pit lanes though. Looks like we've got Vettel out into some clear air here. He's not going to be competing once he's doing his flying lap. Just hopefully that pace that we had in practice translates to qualifying here, because the last race wasn't too good. We've got George Russell going quickest in an Aston Martin at the moment. That Mercedes power in that much improved Aston Martin with the rear wing the way it is, has that bumped them up the order? Obviously the game does take a picture, not a picture, but it takes the stats of all the cars, what's crucial, and then sort of filters them in order once it gets to race day over which car is better for a track. But as we see, the Aston Martin with that really good rear wing and that really powerful Mercedes engine in the car, it is working out for them at the moment. First and fourth for an Aston Martin. That is insane. Ferrari back here with Leclerc. Hulkenberg is further up the order. Hamilton's in 8th at the moment. So has this upset the order here? Aston Martin on the first run of cars? No, because that shows, yeah, because they're up into 5th overall, so they'll be out on the second run of cars at the moment. It would be McLaren, because they're 7th, will be out on the first run of cars that come out of the pits. Should we get Van Dorn out about now so we can try and have him? There's not too much difference between Vettel and Van Dorn here at the moment. If we get Van Dorn out into some without traffic around, see if he can improve from this point. And then we'll get Vettel out. We've got 8. Is that Hamilton out already? And we're starting to see the other cars come out. See if we can find a gap. Wait for that Renault to go past. There's a Ferrari there, so we're going to go now. Try and give Vettel a little bit of clear air. We've got an Aston Martin and a Renault behind us coming out. Russell, who is in pole position, putting his name in the hat for a Mercedes seat next season if Lewis does go ahead and leaves the team. But Russell, is he going to be able to hold on here? We've got all the top cars out on track. Van Dorn is going quicker at the moment. He was about 8 tenths behind on that first lap. He looks like he's a little bit quicker this time. He's currently 14th. Moves himself up one place above Bottas into 13th. Vettel is quicker over the first sector. Russell has set the quickest second sector of the race, although Verstappen is quick over the first sector. A little bit slower over the second. Who is going to grab pole position here? Russell. Looks like he's improved Leclerc up into second place. Can Verstappen upset George Russell here? Is Russell going to be on pole position? Are we going to have a massive upset? No, Verstappen nicked it right at the death. The last car coming across the line. Verstappen only just quicker than George Russell there though. And then we've got the two Ferraris behind. We won't go down the rest of the grid order. We'll save that to just before the race, as we usually do when we go down the grid. Come on, get in the pits, Verstappen. Holding us up here. In the pits, quick. And that's me just whacking my computer there. A little animated. We came 9th with Sebastian Vettel. Not the best qualifying there for us. But we've got rain to start the race. It's not much rain though. That is the sort of rain, even at that point where it gets to its highest, the dry tyres, the slicks should work. The dry tyre compound should work on that. So we're going to take the ultra soft trim here. We might change that. I just can't remember how many laps this race is. And we actually didn't get anywhere close, did we, with that? Still out of it, but... So it is 42 laps here. Is this a one stop between those two tyres? Just about, well, a few laps to spare. So it's going to be a one stop for Vettel. Can it be a one stop for Van Dorn? 15:26? No, not really. So with Van Dorn being outside the top 10, we can put him on a different compound tyre, so we can start soft and then maybe aim for the super soft so he one stops, which means we do just have to go back and change him from the ultra soft boost to the soft boost. We'll have both cars push slightly in the opening laps, although it is wet on track. The temperature is pretty high. I don't know what the rain's going to be like later on in the race. It might stop totally, it might come back, but who knows. But anyway, here is the grid order for the 2021 Brazilian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen on pole position. George Russell, amazing second place in the Aston Martin. Charles Leclerc is third, followed by his teammate Nico Hulkenberg. Fifth is Lance Stroll, who is injured with a dodgy neck. Aston Martin all the way up there, 5th, 2nd and 5th on the grid, amazing, ahead of the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. Lando Norris is 7th, Ocon 8th in the Renault, then we're 9th with Sebastian Vettel. Fernando Alonso is injured as well with another dodgy neck in a Red Bull. Then Daniel Ricciardo outside the top 10, 11th place. Carlos Sainz 12th in a McLaren. Albon in the Red Bull 13th, not performing at the moment, but he has been steady all season. I think he's just had one race where he didn't finish in the points. He's a little bit touch and go for whether Red Bull like to pull the trigger on that second seat pretty quickly, don't they? But Stoffel Van Dorn is 14th, Valtteri Bottas is 15th in an Alfa Romeo, Perez 16th in a Haas, Latifi is 17th, Magnussen is injured. Is that another dodgy neck? It is. In a Williams, 18th, Gasly 19th in an Alfa Tauri, Schumacher 20th in the Prima, Giovinazzi and Newgarden in the Alfa and Haas respectively. And then bringing up the rear of the grid is Robert Schwartzman, Yuri Vips, two youngest drivers, I think, on the track in the Prima and the AlphaTauri. So here we go. We can't actually see the cars at the start here, so let's just switch the camera. Hopefully we can have a good start. Maybe let's switch to Verstappen. We can see Vettel's away off the line pretty quickly. Russell, though, is having a go at Verstappen, although it looks like he's left the door open for Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg almost got past Verstappen there. And Hulkenberg's got the run on Verstappen here. It looks like, no, he doesn't. Verstappen manages to hold out. Russell's managed to hold on to 3rd place of Charles Leclerc. Stroll has managed to hold on to 5th place here. Vettel is currently running in 8th place. We're just going to switch up and we'll go a little bit more aggressive here. As we move down, we'll switch back to Vettel here. And Vettel, have we got the run? That is Lewis Hamilton in front, but no, we don't. Hamilton slams the door shut, which allows Daniel Ricciardo to get a better run than us into that corner, whereas Van Dorn is a little bit further behind. He's on the harder tyre. I don't think this rain is going to get heavy enough. It looks like it's going to stop around about lap 13, but we should be able to get get these tyres through. And we've just been a little bit aggressive at the start here whilst there's rain on track. Possibly not the wisest decision with rain on track. That is Lance Stroll in front. Russell's dropping down the order, so Aston Martin, whilst they did have the qualifying pace, doesn't look like they've got the race pace to go along with it as we get past Lance Stroll, and he comes under pressure from Daniel Ricciardo, who's dropped back down the order. These tyres are getting hot now, so we're just going to start to cool stuff down. And Van Dorn is stuck behind Alonso. Alonso's dropped down to 12th place here. I don't think we're going to be able to make this move, which I usually say, and then something happens, so I'll say it. I don't think we can make this move. I'll just say it, but no. Oh, it does briefly. But that move then leaves us open to Nicholas Latifi and the Williams with that Mercedes power in that car. Have we got the run on Latifi down the pit straight? We do, but can we get past that? Is McLaren in front of Carlos Sainz? We're going to have to cool down at some point with Van Dorn. We know we want to get this soft tyre as far as we can into the race. Meanwhile, Vettel has done well of getting up into 7th place. He's gained 2 positions. And is that Van Dorn dropping, battling away with Alexander Albon at the moment, who's trying to move his way back up through the field. I think he had a really bad start. Has anyone else had a bad start down here that's sort of out of order? Esteban Ocon all the way down in 18th in that Renault. His driver form is at a 0. But as it is, Verstappen has got away. He's got a 4-second gap. It is Hulkenberg and then his teammate Charles Leclerc just behind him. Lando Norris doing well up into 4th place at the moment. He does have a win to his name this season, but McLaren recently have dropped off performance-wise. Hamilton is 5th, Russell is 6th, having dropped down from 2nd. His starting position, we've got Vettel running 7th, Stroll 8th, Ricciardo 9th, and Alonso's got himself back up into the points here. So not too bad of a start for us. Van Dorn, though, not doing the best. Just depends to see what he does as this season goes on. There's 2 races left after this. Even though he has done well this season, he is still fighting for his place with Pascal Wehrlein. Wehrlein was the number 2 driver early on in the season. Vettel did get injured. Well, he got a fever. He had a really bad fever that kept him out for about 4 weeks because his stats took an absolute nosedive, which meant we had Van Dorn and Pascal Wehrlein opposite each other, I think, for 2 races, and Van Dorn came out on top in the head-to-head, which meant he got the 2nd seat over Wehrlein for the rest of the season, and then has continued to score points pretty consistently, but he's been having a nightmare recently. And of course he did have the bigger stat boost, a pretty substantial stat boost, which did help him out, but now he's sort of dropped off a little bit. So next season might be a little bit more experimenting between the 2 drivers. We might even try bringing in a new driver. I mean, there is Daniel Ricciardo, who can't be happy even though he's in a really good Renault car. But then again, our driver lineup would then be too strong with Vettel and Ricciardo. I don't really want that either. To have too strong a driver lineup. Nico Hulkenberg has not been on form for Ferrari, could be out of that Ferrari seat as we go ahead and make a move on Hamilton there. Managed to get past Hamilton? Get past Hamilton on lap. That was on lap 8 we actually managed to do that. We're on lap 9 now, up into 6th place. So it is George Russell in front, and we're doing quite well now because we've cooled the tyres down pretty well. We actually got through that. Should we keep in high mode and recover the fuel later like we usually do? Van Dorn is currently running 14th. But as I was saying, whilst we're just watching these cars, no we won't, we'll just see if we can get past Russell here, as the rain looks like it's going to get a little bit heavier before totally easing off. And we have made that move. We'll just keep it in high mode for a little bit just to make sure we can get that move secured over George Russell. It looks like we've done that. We've got Lando Norris in front. As I was saying, Nico Hulkenberg in that Ferrari, although he has been doing a little bit better over the last few races, he has underperformed. He is more than half the points behind his teammate Charles Leclerc. Maybe Ferrari will be looking for someone else and we could have Vettel and Hulkenberg. Could be an option, although Hulkenberg might choose. There might be seats available at like Renault. Would he want to be a number 1 driver at Renault? Obviously. Or if that is dependent on Ricciardo moving. There's still a lot of things to figure out of how we're going to go into season 2 of this. Obviously one of the teams is going to get a massive performance boost. There is a fan vote down below. Check the last video. If it's not down below, it will be on the last video in the comments if I haven't got to it in this one. A lot of interesting questions that we're going to have going into next season. Let's just see what the cars behind are doing. Yeah, it's getting pretty exciting as we're going to move into season 2 of what's going to happen with all the teams. We are potentially losing the German Grand Prix, which I think, did we win it this year? Is that where we got our 1-2? I think that's where we got our 1-2 with Vettel and Van Dorn, was in Germany. As it looks like Van Dorn's just lost a place there to Nicholas Latifi. Germany was the race where we got a 1-2. It looks like it's going to be removed from the calendar. That vote has gone ahead. I'm going to try reverse it and get rid of one of the Russia races instead, because we do have 2 Russian races. So we might just lose a Russian race next year, but reinstate the Munich. I can't reinstate the same race that we had this year, but I think I can do it and put a race in. But it does have to be a different track layout to get a Germany race back on the calendar for next season, which is what I'm thinking of doing. And it looks like, is that Norris going off the boil here? Norris, his tyres have shredded. Norris has gone past the 20% here. I think we've got another lap in these tyres as well. As we lose a place, we gain that place. But Hamilton manages to get back past here. No, he does. Hamilton, we're battling away. Lewis and Sebastian Vettel, the battle. This is probably a better battle than they usually have. Even though where they are at the moment, this Mercedes is a lot better. But there, Hamilton does get away. And our tyres are about to go, just like Norris's did. We're going to get in. We're at the... Oh, it's going to be pretty close, but do have some risk on the pit stop. Should we just go quick? What has everyone else done so far? Who else has stopped? Russell has gone for another Ultra. Norris has gone for an Ultra as well. 27, I think with the temperatures being so high. Oh, we've got rain coming at the end of the session as well. Lap 32, we've got rain. So should we plan ahead for that? Lap 32. Or we need about 17 laps from a tyre. Should we go super soft and make sure that we can go to when the rain comes? Maybe go for an intermediate at that point. I think that's what we'll go for. Hopefully we can have a... Hopefully we can get through to that point. Here we go. Vettel is in the pits. Hopefully we don't have a mistake on it. No, we're in and we out in front of Lewis. Where did Lewis come out? Did Lewis come in at the same time? No, Lewis has stayed out on track, but we're in so much traffic here. We're gonna have to... We do have a little bit of room to work with this tyre. Let's see if we can clear a few of these cars pretty early on. We know we're on a nice fresh tyre. So hopefully we can go ahead and get past here. Van Dorn, meanwhile, he's back to optimal. We're just going to turn him up. He's only a little bit further up the road than Vettel, who has pitted in traffic. That is, who's in front of him now? That's Lando Norris, who's managed to get through with the undercut. That undercut has worked really well for Lando Norris here. And who's that in front of us as well? That's Nico Hulkenberg who's coming. So we are on a harder compound tyre, but we might be able to get it through to the rain. But then that rain doesn't look like it's going to be too heavy. The Inters might not be the best tyre to go onto at that point. But you never know, that rain might get a lot heavier towards the end of the session. The weather looks like the temperature looks like it's going to go up, so maybe the rain's going to stop. We'll get a better idea of what's going to happen there later on in the race. Meanwhile, let's just get into a holding pattern at the moment. These supers are going too hot, so let's just cool down. Let's just get into a little holding pattern at the moment. We need to start recovering some fuel. As Esteban Ocon from 23rd goes quickest. A great lap from Esteban Ocon doing, what did he do? A 1:30.5? That is massively quick. We know that Renault is quick, they just can't seem to put it together. We've got a lot of cars coming into the pits. Who is that over we jump? That's Hamilton that has gone behind. Leclerc's coming with problems to his car. Leclerc is really not what we wanted to see. We want to see them keep battling away with Mercedes. We don't want to see Ferrari drop more points here. But as usual, they've started off really strong. It seems like they were going to go on comfortably win the title. Mercedes just come back really strong in the second half of the season, clawed back the gap. Now look at that, 386 to 393 to 331 at the moment if things stay the way they are. And meanwhile we've got Vettel right behind Van Dorn here, so we're going to have to let Vettel through, aren't we, because he's just going to hold him up. We're going to let Vettel through because Vettel, he's already made that stop and he's already gone past his teammate. Van Dorn did start out on the harder compound tyre. He is one stop in though, Vettel is 2 stopping. So if it was like this, they're pretty similar to where they actually are on track. They're just running totally different strategies, and that rain is not getting heavier. So we could finish it. We're going to be able to finish the race on a dry tyre as well. I don't think there's going to be any point of going for a medium tyre, so we might do 2 super softs. This super, we'll see another 17 laps. We could have gone for the soft, but we had to take the risk, see what was happening, didn't we? We couldn't take the risk that rain was going to get too heavy at the end of the race, and meanwhile we're just cooling down, recovering fuel. Currently running in 7th place at the moment. Perez is yet to stop. I'm guessing Perez in that Haas is running a 1-stop race. He might go for a medium after that. Well, no, he can't, can he? He could go for a soft. He could go super soft and finish the race. Russell doing really well, but he's gone for 2 sets of ultra. Hopefully he's going to come in for a soft. That'll see him through to the end of the race. Could possibly go super soft and get through to the end of the race. It would be nice to see a different car get up near the top of the order. Meanwhile, Vettel is running in a really comfortable place here. Perez and Sainz do have to stop. So we are effectively running 5th place here. We're ahead of Hamilton, who's dropped down the order a little bit. Leclerc is starting to move back up. He's got himself back up into 15th place. He's in that traffic that we were in. We were in all this traffic earlier on. We managed to clear it, and Leclerc gets himself up into 14th place. That's Lance Stroll, who might still be on for a point finish here. We'll have to see how that works out for him at the end of the race. And that is Lewis there, who's just managed to get past Stoffel Van Dorn. These soft tyres are about to go off at 10%, so we need to get Van Dorn into the pits. He can go on the super softs. He should be able to finish the race here on these tyres. Hopefully he can, but it does mean we're going to have to look after him if we're going to try do a 1-stop here, which means we do have to conserve at some point because the weather is really hot here in Brazil. Vettel has moved back up into 6th place. It's Russell dropping down the order now, though. Has he gone through these tyres? Yes, he has. The ultras have gone off for George Russell, and there goes Vettel up into 5th place. Russell coming into the pits now, though. Hopefully he's going to try go to the end of the race from here and not put another set of ultras on. What's he gone for? A super soft, so that should see Russell through to the end of the race. He comes out just ahead of Stoffel Van Dorn there, which does give us a good idea of where Van Dorn might be at the end of this race, because Van Dorn has stopped for the final time, and we've got a lot of cars here that do have to stop again. But Vettel has pitted. He's done his first pit stop. He does have another pit stop to do though. Does Vettel? It depends what these other cars are around. So this 5th place might not be secured here. Are we quicker than Lando in front? No, we're not. We're doing about the same lap time. We're conserving at the moment. Should we get back up into neutral? We know we don't really have to look after these tyres too much. We're still recovering fuel though at the moment as well. And there's a few laps until the rain restarts. I don't think any of the computer cars are going to go on to inters here. So let's just speed up a little bit until we figure out what we're going to do in the next phase of this race. As we follow Vettel round. What are we doing at the moment? 1:31. We're quicker than Hamilton, a little bit slower than Lando Norris, who is on a pair of ultras. Has he gone through this ultra again though? No, not just yet. Is he going to come in this lap? Because he's going through that ultra tyre. Yeah, he's going to pit before it does fall. No, has it gone off already? Yeah, he's gone past the 20%, hasn't he? So Vettel is going to close down here. He is going to get past. The AI is just leaving it a little bit too close for these tyres. Obviously the undercut does work. Norris has gone for another set of ultras, and what's Norris used this race? Ultra. Cheating AI. Cheating. So would we be able to get a set of ultras on here at any point? Couldn't we? We can get onto a set of ultras. We managed to get 16 laps off that first one, so should we just go for it on this pair of super softs? If we just absolutely go for it. We do need to cool down with Stoffel Van Dorn though. He's currently running 16th place. There's a lot of cars that do need to pit. We're pretty close to Norris. Russell's managed to get back ahead of Norris as well. But we're just absolutely going to go for it until we run this tyre all the way down. Just run it. We'll just run it high. It'll affect the lap times a little bit, but as we've seen previously, it is a little bit better just to, although we're running in attack mode in the rain, which might cost us. But Vettel does go fastest overall, a 1:29.6. So our aim is to stay ahead of Norris through this pit stop. Is the aim. This super soft is, the hard is 0, the medium is 5, the soft is 10, the super soft is 15%. It will start to go off. And that is Hulkenberg as well. That's gone through a pair of ultras here. Hulkenberg's gone through a pair of ultras. The AI not handling this race that well at all, as we've got about one more lap left in this tyre. We might have to think about turning it down just so it doesn't actually go off. We want to maybe back up slightly just to get it off that touch of the red zone, get it back into medium. We just don't want to go past 15% here. It looks like we're going to be able to do that comfortably now. And Sergio Perez has crashed. It's not going to trigger a safety car, which would have worked out massively in our favour. It doesn't trigger a safety car though. Vettel currently running second. Where are we going to get out of the pits here? Hamilton looks like he might be running to the end of the race doing a one stop. We're going to have some ultras that we can push, but Hamilton goes through. Doesn't look like we're going to get out in front of Daniel Ricciardo. Renault making, is that Renault on the good side of a strategy for a change, going for a one stop? I refuse to believe it that Renault have actually made a good choice here. But can we catch Danny Rick though? That is the question. Are we quicker? I mean, we're pushing these mediums over the edge at the moment. Let's just have another lap where we sort of try, just want to keep them going till the end. We'll just try cool down. Are we actually gaining on Daniel Ricciardo here, even though we're in backup mode at the moment? And then if we switch to neutral for this lap, what did we do? A 1:37. Oh, Danny Rick is within sight here. Look at that, a Mercedes 1-2 here. It looks like they're going to go ahead and pretty much effectively get the Constructors' Championship. Leclerc is outside the points, which, if I remember correctly, that would put Hamilton within 6 points of Charles Leclerc here heading into the last two races. Yeah, 6 points behind heading into the last two races of the season. We're 1.3 now. These ultras are going to start losing their effectiveness over the softs, although Ricciardo was at the point where these softs are starting to go a little bit slower as well. These ultras have gone past their main phase, and then into the tyres in this have like 3 phases. They have the phase, let's just use the ultras as an example, 4 laps where they're really quick, and then they settle down for about 10 laps where they run at a pretty consistent lap time, and then, well, it's actually 4 phases. So you have the really quick phase for 4 laps, then like you have about 10 laps where they just run nice and comfortably, then you have 4 laps where they start to slow down from there, and then, oh, Ricciardo's crashed, safety car. Oh my god. Anyway, you have that point after that where we can go in low mode here. It's going to group all the cars back up though, isn't it? Van Dorn, he's not going to be able to get back out, in and out. We've got some cars coming into the pits though, as I was saying, so you can try to go through it again. You have the point, 4 laps, with these ultras, you have 4 laps where they're at their absolute quickest. 10 laps where they're at another level where they're just nice and consistent, not as quick as they were, but still running pretty quick. And then there's another 4 laps where they sort of drop off after that, a little bit slower than they were, still pretty quick, and then you have the point where they drop off the cliff. So there is those 4 stages to the tyre. As it is, we've got Vettel running here. The safety car is out. We're about to catch the group up. We've got both cars cooling down. It does give us an opportunity to recover this fuel. I don't think we're going to recover it enough. We might have to stay medium once this race restarts, although we see we have got a good chance of jumping the order here, because the 2 Mercedes are a used pair of softs, and we've got a nice, almost fresh pair of ultras. Are we going to be able to make a jump here? Van Dorn, excuse me, Van Dorn has a used pair of super softs on. A few of the cars around him have ultras on. I don't think we've got much chance of getting Van Dorn back up here. We've got fuel to play with as well though. It looks like we're going to get released with 2 laps to go. So here we go. Here we go. Let's get Oh, I've got something stuck in my throat. As we get into it, here we go. Here we go, back up to speed. It looks like we've got the run on Hamilton. Have we got the run on Verstappen? No, we lost that place back to Hamilton. We might as well just push this tyre. There's only a lap to go. How are we going to get second? I don't think we've got the pitters to catch up with Verstappen. You never know, we might do. Van Dorn has managed to get himself up into 11th place. There is a Prix in front. That's Schumacher. Russell's still up there in the points. Can we keep up over? We do have the fuel to go in overtake mode over this last lap as well. We're a second behind Verstappen. I think that is too far ahead here. The rain has stopped, but the track is still damp. Just have to keep an eye on the fuel loads here. Are we going to be able to catch up? We're within half a second. I don't think we've got the pace here unless Verstappen, that tyre does drop off. It is pretty close though. That soft tyre is pretty close. Oh no, we've lost the cars. We've lost the cars. We don't want a static cam. Only a few corners to go. We're getting closer. No, we're not. We're still half a second behind. Have we got the run? Have we got the run? Have we got the run? Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh my god. It's almost like a photo finish. Second place. That was so close. Van Dorn has dropped down a little bit there at the end of the race. 13th place for him. But absolutely amazing. That was the quickest lap of the race, was it? We can't see the lap time. Look at that, 0.0 we finished behind. I think that's one of the closest finishes I've ever seen. The safety car working in our favour there. We would have been on for a 3rd place finish. So running that super soft in the middle stint really helped us out there. Vettel, look at that, so close. So close. Hulkenberg was 4th. Leclerc managed to get back up in the points as well, which is going to keep it still open here between the two teams. It means Hamilton's not quite as close to Leclerc as it would have been. There is 22 points between the drivers now. Constructors' Championship wise, it is 65 points, so unless Mercedes have an absolute nightmare, it is their Constructors' Championship. Ferrari 2nd, Red Bull 3rd, we're still 4th. Seems to be quite comfortable. We've got a 59 point gap over McLaren, and then Renault. It's going to be Renault and McLaren for that 5th place. And then down here, 7th to 10th is all up in the air. Any of those teams could finish in 7th, but it is Prima, the Ferrari-led team, that are currently ahead of the pack of those little 4 cars. You've got a trait here for Stoffel Van Dorn. Rival with driver. The driver would not join a team with their rival Esteban Ocon. Don't know why. But anyway, we came 2nd overall. Don't like putting Verline into the car for practice has helped him boost any of his stats. Vettel was really quick, a 2nd place finish. More money coming out of the bank. And there we go, absolutely amazing result. Another podium for Sebastian Vettel. I didn't think we'd be getting this many podiums this season. We've got just after his win today, we'll just say that butters up Verstappen. We're not going to make a move for him. We do want him with Mercedes. Verline is listening to offers as well. As Natalie Pinken says, Verstappen blitzes the opposition. So, yes, we do have Phoenix coming up. Our engine is pretty shoddy. As we see, it is about half of the oval that you can have at Phoenix. We might be slow. I've got a feeling we could be slow, but we do have a good rear wing though. It could be a good race once again for Aston Martin. During qualifying, we saw what they did in Brazil. They didn't manage to carry it through into the race though, a 10th and 11th. Russell was 7th on the safety car restart, I think. Might have lost his way and finished down in 10th place. But anyway, that is where we're leaving this episode. We've got the American Grand Prix Phoenix coming up next time around. Hopefully we can go ahead, score more points there. Actually, just one thing. Let's just see how many podiums Vettel's got this season. 6 podiums, almost half the races, considering he missed 2 races as well. No, yeah, he has done 13 out of the 15 races, so nearly a podium in half his races. 2 wins. But yeah, anyway, that is where we're leaving this episode. So until next time, I'll see you down the road in Phoenix for the American Grand Prix. But until then, goodbye.